Ford just made a major move with the 2027 Super Duty, and it has nothing to do with a flashy body redesign. The biggest changes are happening under the hood, where Ford is reshaping the engine lineup in a way that could change what buyers choose for years to come. And here's the part that caught my attention. Ford is not simply adding another engine. The company is removing two familiar powertrain options while putting the 7.3-liter Godzilla V8 and high-output Power Stroke in a much more important position. That may sound like a simple lineup change on paper, but for mechanics and serious truck buyers, it could be a much bigger deal than it first appears. Super Duty trucks have always followed one formula: massive torque, serious cooling capacity, tough transmissions, and engines built to handle punishment. For 2027, Ford appears to be taking a very different approach. Instead of simply expanding the lineup, the company is simplifying it. The 6.8-liter gasoline V8 is being dropped, while the standard output version of the 6.7-liter Power Stroke is also being removed. That leaves the 7.3-liter Godzilla as the key gas V8 and the high-output 6.7-liter Power Stroke as the serious diesel choice. That is the part buyers need to understand. This is not just about a new horsepower number. Ford is changing which engines customers can actually choose, and that can have a much bigger impact on the lineup than a minor specification update. Mechanics and truck shoppers need to separate what Ford has actually confirmed from what people are simply guessing, and current order information gives a clearer picture than the rumors online. Start with the 7.3-liter Godzilla V8, the anchor of the gas engine lineup. Ford introduced this engine for the 2020 Super Duty as a larger displacement gasoline V8 alongside the 6.2-liter, and it quickly became the engine associated with Ford's modern heavy-duty gas strategy. Compared to today's turbocharged engines, its design is refreshingly simple: push rods, big displacement, and strong torque right off idle. That simplicity is exactly why mechanics have grown fond of it. And this is where the 2027 change becomes especially interesting. With the 6.8-liter V8 leaving the lineup, the 7.3-liter Godzilla takes on an even more important role. Instead of being just another gasoline option, it becomes the standard gasoline V8 choice for the 2027 Super Duty lineup. For mechanics, that matters because the Godzilla has already earned a reputation as a large displacement, naturally aspirated pushrod V8 built for heavy work. And now we get to one of the biggest surprises here: the 6.8-liter V8. For a while, this engine was one of the most talked about pieces of Ford's gasoline strategy. But for 2027, the story is no longer about whether Ford might use it. The current 2027 order information points in the opposite direction. Ford is dropping the 6.8-liter V8 from the 2027 Super Duty lineup. And that changes the 2027 Super Duty story completely. Ford isn't giving buyers another gasoline V8 choice. It is taking one away and putting the 7.3-liter Godzilla in the spotlight. And that raises an interesting question. Why simplify the lineup instead of giving customers more choices? One possible answer is that Ford believes the 7.3-liter provides the right combination of torque, capability, durability, and simplicity for the buyers who actually use these trucks for heavy work. But the exact reasoning behind Ford's decision will become clearer as more official information arrives. Then there is the 6.7-liter Power Stroke, and this is another major change. Ford is dropping the standard output 6.7-liter Power Stroke for 2027, leaving the high-output version as the key diesel option. That means buyers who want a diesel Super Duty are being pushed toward the more powerful version of the Power Stroke, rather than choosing between two output levels. And that is a very different strategy from simply adding more power. The high-output 6.7-liter is already built around serious towing and hauling capability, with current specifications putting it at 500 horsepower and 1,200 pound-feet of torque. That makes the high-output diesel the centerpiece of the 2027 diesel lineup. And for someone who regularly pulls heavy trailers, that could matter more than a cosmetic redesign. You cannot tell this engine story without also talking about the transmission. Today's heavy-duty engines put out enormous torque. That torque has to be managed through a transmission built for towing, hauling, climbing grades, and constant acceleration. Ford's Super Duty powertrains are tightly paired with advanced automatic transmission technology. Upgrades to shift calibration, torque management, gear selection, and towing behavior could make a real difference even with familiar hardware underneath. Ford can change how an engine behaves without completely changing its basic architecture. But simplifying the lineup is different. It changes what buyers can actually choose before they even reach the dealership. So why are mechanics paying such close attention? Because technicians don't judge a truck by horsepower alone. They look at heat management, serviceability, oil and coolant temperatures, turbo components, fuel systems, emissions hardware, and the problems that show up after years of hard use. A buyer might see 500 horsepower and 1,200 pound-feet of torque and stop there. A mechanic is thinking about what happens after 150,000 miles and after the warranty is long gone. That is the difference between a truck that looks good in an ad and one that actually holds up on the job. These questions carry extra weight with Super Duty trucks because so many of them work commercially, hauling equipment, livestock, or freight day after day. A fleet manager does not care about shaving a second off a 0 to 60 run. They care about a truck sitting idle in the shop. An engine with slightly less peak power that survives years of heavy towing without drama is worth far more than one built purely to win a spec sheet contest. Don't expect the 2027 Super Duty to suddenly become an EV-style experiment. This truck serves a very different mission. Contractors, ranchers, and fleet operators still need to fill up at any gas station and keep working without waiting for a charger. That is why Ford's strategy here looks more like focused evolution than a complete reinvention of the Super Duty. So what could actually catch mechanics off guard? It may not be a completely new engine at all. It could be Ford's decision to simplify the lineup around engines that are already proven. The 7.3-liter Godzilla becomes the central gasoline choice, while the high-output 6.7-liter Power Stroke becomes the key diesel choice for buyers who need maximum factory-rated capability. Ford isn't necessarily trying to reinvent the Super Duty engine bay. It is concentrating the lineup around the powertrains that best fit the truck's core mission, and that could be a smarter move than chasing novelty for its own sake. So what should buyers watch for? First, watch for Ford's final official specifications, including horsepower, torque, towing capacity, payload, and fuel economy across the different configurations. Second, watch the transmission changes, since power only matters if the transmission can use it. Third, track reliability upgrades in cooling, lubrication, turbocharging, fuel delivery, and emissions systems. Fourth, watch maintenance costs, since a more powerful engine is not a win if ownership gets pricier. Fifth, watch real-world towing performance once independent testing rolls in. And sixth, watch long-term durability, since the most telling information will not show up until owners rack up real mileage. So here's the bottom line. The biggest 2027 Super Duty engine story isn't necessarily a secret new V8 or some radical redesign. The real story is Ford changing the lineup itself. The 6.8-liter V8 is going away, and so is the standard output 6.7-liter Power Stroke. That puts the 7.3-liter Godzilla and high-output 6.7-liter Power Stroke in a much more important position. For mechanics, that could actually be the most interesting part. Because a great heavy-duty engine is never just the one with the biggest number on a brochure. It's the one that starts every morning, pulls a heavy trailer without overheating, delivers predictable torque, and survives years of hard work without becoming a maintenance nightmare. That's ultimately what we need to watch with the 2027 Super Duty. Not just how much power Ford claims, but how these engines perform once real owners put serious loads on them year after year.